Everybody, it's August 15, 2017. Before I get into this, I just want to say that I have been staying at somebody's home while they're on vacation, and I'm watching their dogs and even taking care of their chickens, which is a first for me, and I have been able to do it. This New York City girl taking care of chickens. Wow. Well, things have really changed for me, my life. But what I want to say is that they have Wi-Fi in their home and unable to turn it off because it has to do with their business gadgets, some gadget that they have related to their business, and it can't be turned off. Okay. Well, I will tell you that within 24 hours, I have been experiencing worse brain fog, a lot of physical pain, and great difficulty functioning even on the most basic of levels. Everything that I'm doing, the simplest task that would require no concentration whatsoever, is now requiring me to really focus, expend an awful lot of energy to concentrate on what I am doing. Why am I saying this? Because, as I have said for 5.5 years, these frequencies are incredibly dangerous, and they are rendering an awful lot of us non-functional. I just posted this video. Michigan residents protest smart meters due to health concerns. And this woman here says that smart meters are so debilitating that she cannot function. And I will tell you that more and more Americans are getting to that stage because of how dangerous the frequencies are that are coming from cell phone towers, that are coming from Gwen towers and cell phones and smart meters and all of our electronic gadgets and baby monitors and Wi-Fi. Now, why is it that in this country we have our frequencies off the charts, as I have stated in many videos? And this article here, which I will link to, and I'm not going to read, but I'm just focusing on 2 points made in this article. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission is asleep at the switch regarding radio frequency safety standards and protecting the public. They're not asleep at the switch at all, and nor have they dropped any ball. This is purposeful, this is deliberate to destroy the American people, destroy their health, to render us non-functional so that we cannot fight this soft coup that has already taken place to turn what was the freest nation in the world, the freest people in the world ever throughout history, to turn them into slaves in a slave state. And they have been successful because this is something that we cannot reverse anymore. These elite, psychopathic, crazy nut jobs who want to transform the world into this new world order with one world government. I have heard experts say, and I have read articles in which it was stated that it was necessary to bring down the American people first. Not because we're exceptional. My God, we are proving how unexceptional we are every single day. But because the Constitution was exceptional in terms of having a document that stated that it was we the people that could govern ourselves. It was we the people who had the right to have power over our government. But we failed miserably. Now, to those subscribers who think that I'm a government person, or I'm even for limited government. You have no clue who I am, and clearly you have not really listened to every video. I have been so out of life for so long, I don't even know how to re-enter this life that we have manifested here in our country. But I would love to see all government abolished. Now, at one time, I did have faith in the human race that they could govern themselves. But that would require them to be of a higher consciousness. It would require them to be in touch with their own individual power. And it would require them to regard their own freedom as sacrosanct. It would require them to not need any leaders. And unfortunately, the majority of the human race, not just people here in our country, are far from that. They want leaders, they want to be told what to do, and they don't mind being slaves. And that is the truth. So where do we go from here? Well, in my ideal world, where we can actually live how we want to be able to live without people telling us what to do, that's not going to be realized. So, do we fight to try to just get the country that was supposed to be manifested in accordance with the Constitution, that limited federal government, and each state be sovereign? I don't know. I don't have the answers. All I know is that we're not going to get anywhere, not with the condition that the American people are in, not with their states of mind, not with their level of, well, I was going to say maturity. No, it's immaturity. And that makes me very sad. So, with these frequencies, the US, their standard is 580 microwatts with their standard, our standard. Whereas Russia has a standard of 10, China 6, Italy 5, Switzerland 4.2, Austria 0.1, Liechtenstein 0.1, and we have 580. Well, right there, that should really shock you and alert you to the fact that they are using these frequencies as weapons to destroy us. The American people had to be brought down first because we were the freest in the world. God forbid we should actually take that responsibility that we had as citizens of this country with that Constitution and actually exercised the power that was handed to us in that Constitution. Instead, what we did was vote. That was it. Every 2 or 4 years. That made us a good citizen. We voted for the lesser of two evils. Wow. Lesser of two evils. Every 4 years we were voting for the lesser of two evils. Well, you vote for the lesser of two evil, and you get the lesser of those two evils. You get evil. You either get it fast or you get it a little slower. We just got that evil a little slower. And now that evil has taken us over. Unless Americans begin to protest in a way that is actually sane and protesting what is bringing us down, as opposed to those protesters in Charlottesville, the useful idiots who have been manipulated to show up and protest and cause chaos, because That's exactly what was going on in Charlottesville. Organizations that are socialist and communist, they worked hard to get that protest going, to bring about the violence, to bring about the chaos. It was deliberate, it was purposeful, and most Americans, they just can't see through the bullshit, so they get easily manipulated to believe that we have all of these white supremacists, all of these racists, and we've got to bring them down. My God. Where are they coming from? Just right out of the woodwork. Feels like we're back in the 50s, 60s, and we're not. It's all staged. I live here in South Carolina, and I will tell you, I have not experienced in the 4 years that I've been here any racial tension, and in fact, I have experienced that the black people here are far more friendly than the white people. And yes, I'm not saying that racism does not occur. It absolutely does. This white 70-year-old cracker took out a gun and blew away this black kid, shot him in the head a year ago. And that kid was a relative of my friend's neighbor. Yeah, there are really sick Americans diseased with racism. But on the whole, it has gotten so much better, and I've spoken to so many black people, and you guys know that I've traveled around this country, and I stopped in truck stops, and I was stopping all over the country, and I do talk to people, and well, there's something about me that I just go right to the heart of things, and I had some pretty intense conversations with black people, and they were against Obama. You know, there's hardly any division. It's all being created. Americans manipulated, the social justice warriors that can't think for themselves. They have other people thinking for them. God, I'm so sick of how diseased Americans are. But it has been such a pleasure to live here in South Carolina, where this state has an awful history of racism and slavery, hanging people, black people. And now I live in this state, South Carolina, where people are just coexisting, getting along. It's so sad to me to see all of the crap coming out of mainstream media. And I'm sorry that I went off on a tangent, but everything's related. These frequencies are causing an awful lot of the disturbance in Americans, where they're experiencing cognitive impairment, unable to critically think. The symptoms are the list is endless in terms of what these frequencies can do to us. But they can create emotions that we wouldn't ordinarily have. Anxiety, anger, depression. They can keep us down, or they can actually induce behaviors, feelings, where we just want to rip one another apart. And all you have to do is do some research to find out that that is true. Now, I want to point out a very, very big danger that I've pointed out in other videos that I have posted on my channel. This is embedded in this article is a YouTube video that is very short, very simple, but it points out how dangerous the use of cell phones are in a car. Whether you're texting or receiving or making a phone call, it is extremely dangerous to do that in your car, especially because you are pulling more intensely the frequencies from the cell phone towers right smack into your car, and they don't know, they can't escape your car. So you actually make your car a microwave oven. Your car becomes a cage of radiation when you talk on your cell phone or when you text while driving or while sitting in your car, not driving. This is what you're doing to your children, to anybody else in your car, and to yourself. Everyone in the car is affected by the radiation, not just you. So how many times have I spoken to people about the use of their cell phones in the car? And do I still see them using their cell phones in the car? Absolutely. How many conversations have I had with Americans who are sick, who are symptomatic, who are going back and forth to doctors because of their pain, because of whatever symptoms they have? Many have been diagnosed with very serious illnesses, MS, cancer. And I have said, the Wi-Fi that you're sitting in your home, 24/7, I have shared what I've learned from my own research. I have shared my personal experience. I have said to them, you do not have to believe me. Do your own research, but I suggest that you get rid of your Wi-Fi and get an Ethernet cable to ground the frequencies that you access the internet with. How many have done that? But all the people that I have spoken to about the dangers of these frequencies. 2. One, it took 8 months for her to do it. The other one, 2 years for her to do it. And the others haven't done a thing. Still living with their Wi-Fi. Even those who are quote-unquote awake, who have the knowledge about how dangerous these frequencies are still living with the Wi-Fi in their home, still with their cell phones right smack up into their ears, still carrying around the cell phone everywhere they go. Everybody should be using these cell phones for just emergencies only. How many parents are sending their children to schools with Wi-Fi routers right over their heads? They're all staring at computer screens in their classrooms. They spend every day, Monday through Friday, in dangerous environments called school, and you can't even get through to parents. We've turned suicidal. We've turned into secondary psychopaths who really only care about ourselves, our own comfort, not even about our children anymore. And convenience certainly has trumped health. Now, there's so many people who understand how dangerous these frequencies are, and they do not reduce their exposure when they can. And if they're not doing anything to reduce their own exposure, you can bet that they're not trying to educate other people about the dangers of this technology that we are using. They're not doing anything. So they're part of the useful idiots who allow themselves to be destroyed, along with all of us who have been screaming, who have been ranting and raving, who have been trying to get it across to Americans how dangerous they are. They subject us to this dangerous environment. We've got to live this nightmare. Because it is the useful idiots, it is those who are choosing willful ignorance, and it is the awake crowd who do nothing that manifest this reality that we all have to live. And it should make all of you who are suffering from these frequencies very angry. It does me, because I have been brought down, and I don't like it. And a lot of it has to do with the frequencies. I don't like my brain being affected by these dangerous frequencies when all Americans need to do is demand that the FCC enact standards like other countries where they are safe. But can we get Americans to even care? I don't think so. Not at this point. All links are below.